Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It is Trending Topics Wednesday, and I'm glad to see y'all in the building. Now, y'all know what y'all got to do because every time I go and look back, and I feel like I should just do a recording on this and play the recording because every single time I go look back in the aftermath to see who purchased their ticket and who did not, I'm always getting cheated. All y'all got to do is hit the like button to get this train started. That's it. Hit that like button. Oh my God, you said it's 103 degrees, but it feels like 113. God bless y'all in Texas. OMG, okay? But listen, guys, hit the like button. Come on now. That's right. Give me a water. Choo choo. I'm about to board this train, y'all, for Wednesday night trending topics. And we got some good things to talk about tonight. Now, y'all played me out last night. Nobody had any sympathy for Macaroni Tony. Listen, Macaroni Tony, I'm praying for you. I hope you're healing. I hope your bruises are all healed up. And you get justice out there. Okay, out there in Houston, okay? Because the people, they wasn't feeling it for you, okay? But I felt for you, Macaroni Tony. Listen, guys, the platform is on lock. It's on lockdown. The platform is full. I'm so sorry because I see somebody trying to get in, but you know how it is over here. You got to catch that train early if you want to be on the platform because we only got 10 slots. So what are we going to talk about tonight? We're going to have a really, really quick discussion about, Kanye West. Are you okay? I want to know if y'all okay if your mate don't wash his booty or her booty. Okay, don't like to use the deodorant, the shampoo, and all that. Would you be okay with that? Okay, we're going to talk about that really, really quick. We ain't going to stay on it long. We're going to talk about an airplane situation. Southwest Airlines, they accused the white mom of trafficking children because she got a black daughter. And she's like, this my daughter. This my daughter. I ain't trying to steal her. So now she got to sue Southwest. Okay. All right. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, remember that 6-year-old boy that went to the school and with a pow pow and pow pow the teacher. Well, he told another teacher, he said, I killed that bee. He said, I got my mother's gun and I killed that bee. That's it. That 6-year-old, okay? And then we're going to talk about postpartum depression in the worst way. A prominent New York doctor, they're saying now that she possibly was suffering from postpartum depression. She unalived her baby and then herself. We're going to talk about it, guys. So this is what we're going to talk about tonight on Trending Topics. And y'all know what? Y'all know what to do out there. I need a what? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. We're about to board this train for Wednesday night Trending Topics. And the people are on the platform waiting to come in the building, okay? Got to bring the people in the building. Hold on now. Hey, Dustin.
Hey David, how's my best friend doing?
Your bestie is doing well, okay? Hey, in my opinion.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, Leo.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, Sebastian.
Hey
Denzel.
Diva, I'm always
Hey
behind, but
Diva.
okay.
Oh, don't do that.
Nah.
Felicia, Wayne, Adele. I love everybody. Y'all on the platform. Y'all on the
Can
platform.
I say
Okay? I
something right
love
quick, Diva?
everybody. All right, people. You're on the platform here, and I'm glad that y'all are here for Trending Topics Wednesday. And listen, guys, if y'all missed it, OMG, last night Trending Topics, it was a whole lot. But we're starting over today, okay? We start
Mm.
over today, and it's Wednesday, and we got Trending Topics. And you know what we're going to start out? Something stinks.
Can I can I say something real quick?
Yes, you can.
Has anybody seen the new documentary on Max about Kim and Kanye West divorce? It's an interesting documentary. I've been watching it for the next. I started watching it last night, and I'm gonna watch it rest of the way tonight.
Okay. All right. You'll tell us about it. All right, guys. So we're going to talk about first. We're going to talk about Kanye West. So apparently, Kanye, he's not into bathing. All right. Then he walks around with all these clothes on. He's sweating and stinking. and his new wife or common law wife, whatever she is, she ain't into the stench. And they said Kim Kardashian had to get used to the stench. Now I'm gonna share screen. We're gonna talk about this really quickly. We ain't gonna stay long on Kanye because I can't even deal with it. Okay. They said Kanye got a serious stench, and his wife Bianca is turned off. She can't take it. Said he got hygiene issues. Now I'm not going to be with no man who want to walk the streets barefoot and then don't want to come in the house and wash his behind. Okay, he feels that him walking around with all these clothes on, he think he's being fashion forward, right? And they said, but it's messing with his hygiene, and the stink is a serious turnoff for Bianca. Okay, and they said, listen, he's trying to cover up his weight. I guess the men too, they care a little bit about the weight. Okay, and then they said when he's done with the day walking around in the hot sun in all of those clothes, he be sweating from head to toe. Okay, but he's not big on showering. Listen, I'm gonna take him outside and hose him down, but there ain't no way you get him next to me and you stinking. They said his body odor is something awful since he rarely uses deodorant. You don't even like the deodorant? Okay. They said Kim got used to the smell. Okay, she didn't like it either. But after years of torture, I guess she just got numb to it. She's like, okay, he doesn't wash. So I ain't even going to go through the rest of the story. I want to go around and ask you this. Could you deal with a mate that doesn't like to wash their booty? Dustin?
Yes, Diva.
Are you okay with the people that don't like to wash, don't like to use deodorant, shampoo?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
If you're not going to do that, you're not going to be around me. That's for sure.
Not brushing their teeth, using some Listerine. So it's a no for you, Dustin.
Nope, that's not for me.
Okay, I hear that. I know that's right. Me either. Leo, can you have a mate that doesn't like the water and the soap?
Absolutely not. Where do they do that at? Absolutely not. Who putting up with that? That's all.
That's it, and that's all. Walking around barefoot, and he ain't even washing his feet. What in the world is going on?
It's ridiculous. It's unserious. I cannot.
Lady Lily, I cannot. Okay. Thank you for your comment. Nikki, what are your thoughts? Can you deal with the stink? If your partner got a little stink to them, little stench.
Nope.
Okay, you ain't dealing with that. Okay. Would you try to hose them down? Would you try to talk to them? Give them some soap for Christmas? What would you do?
Well, we wouldn't be together.
Okay.
If you can't clean yourself.
Amen.
Amen. Sebastian, can you deal with the stench for the one that you love?
No, I can't. I'm sorry. Even no. There's been relatives that I've kicked out before for similar things that no. Mm-mm.
Okay, we're not dealing with the stench. Okay?
We're not dealing with that. I'll give you, if you don't, I'll first do this. I'll give you innuendos that you need to shower. Mm-hmm. I'll start buying deodorant and just putting it right in front of your face all the time. I'll start buying little clothes, putting it right near your face. Get towels, put it near your face. And if you're not picking up that message, then clearly you need to get the hell out of my house. Absolutely not, no.
Okay, we're not dealing with that. Okay. Adele, can you deal with a little stench?
I'm thinking that there wouldn't be a relationship if it was something from the beginning, but things happen. I'm wondering if this is sickness in more ways than one, mental health, or just basically sick, where there's certain things not working in your body. So as a result, that happens. And I go this way because I just don't want to throw someone away if it's a reason like that. But beyond that, it's a tough situation. It's uncomfortable if it's for someone you love. And obviously with these ladies, it was money. They love the money. so they love the man way, right? So for me, I would say there has to be some reason behind it. I don't see anyone wants to just walking around be stink for no reason.
Okay. Yeah. Wayne, are you dealing with somebody who got a little stench?
Well, the marriage vow says for better, for worse. So I'm going to err on the side of worse with that money. Okay, I think I can work with it. Okay,
I can't hear you when you're breaking up a little bit.
Wait, you got a little bit of feedback there. You can work with the stench?
I don't think we can hear him well. Let's give him a benefit of the doubt first, guys.
Okay. Before I get excited, let me calm down.
Take you.
Okay.
It's the ear pods.
Okay. Now say that one more. Say that one more again.
Come back to me.
Okay, I'll come back to you because I hope I heard you wrong. Felicia, can you deal with the? You said calm down. Okay, I'm gonna calm down. Let me calm down. You're right. Let me calm down. I'm calm. Okay, go ahead, Felicia. Can you deal with a little stench?
Who did you read it at? That somebody said he smells like is he out in public and he's just a whiff of him makes you want to pass out, like when you're on the train or something and you come across a smell and you go, oh no, is that what it is?
I think it's a mixture of everything because he said, see the fact that he likes to wear 22 layers of clothes in the heat is problematic, right? And he doesn't use deodorant. So right there, that's going to be a problem right there. Because sometimes even if you shower and you forget deodorant, things can go left, right? So now they said when he takes off all those clothes, he's drenched in sweat.
He's drenched in funk. No, I'm not. No. No. No.
Yeah, it's a no for you. Yeah.
No, it's a no for me.
Okay, I appreciate that. Denzel, are you okay if your partner got a little stench, have a little smell?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am. I get them some soap, body wash. I get them like You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I can't. I hate when that happens. When that StreamYard does that, it gets annoying. But I give them some a travel package. That I think he have a mental health issue, especially if he's out in the sun and he's wearing a lot of clothes. Yeah, he got something is wrong with him. That is sad. That's bad. So no, ma'am.
His clothing choices is he feels he's being fashion forward, and then the article also said that he's probably trying to cover up the fact that he has gained a little weight and he doesn't want the people to know. I think there's a plenty of people who don't have good hygiene, and ain't nothing mentally wrong with them. They just don't want to get there behind in the shower and wash. But if he was my mate, I would have to hose him down. We ain't gonna be in the room together. Leah, yes, I meant to make an announcement. Roy Air is perfect. This is Beyonce week for him. He's going to see Beyonce on Friday, and you know that one don't play with this Beyonce. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Preparing all week, with the outfit, the shoes, the hair. No, it's a whole ensemble. He's
okay.
So he ain't got time right now. He's going to see back. He's going to see back. Okay, but he's
under that spell.
Thank you for asking. He's good. So Wayne.
Yeah, I had my Temu earphones.
You see that Temu you're trying to get me to buy from? I ain't messing with Temu. Boy,
Me too, Diva. Me too.
Yeah, got you.
My colleague be trying to get me to order from Temu. I was like, I can't mess with them. I don't play with my money like that.
It's some good stuff on there. Like this is a remote for the TV, right? Like, so they had some, the same ones for like $2.98.
Go ahead, Wayne.
It don't go to the left. I can't guide it on the television. It'll turn the television off and on and turn it up and down. But anyway, yeah, I think
Christian
with the average person, you may want to. I don't know if they try to work it out, but that kind of money, you can't tell me you can't get some help. We're gonna get some help. We're gonna take you someplace, And now you have to admit, now I'm not being two-sided, but if it's a woman, I mean, that's gonna take a whole lot. Cause I'm like, a man could probably go a couple days, don't shower, and probably just musky. But if a woman don't do it, it's the issue, and it's gonna really. I think the odor will really resound. But I think now, what I will say, if they're not willing to change, if they're not willing to get some help and get this, and if they don't have a prenup, we're gonna have to part ways with some money.
Wayne, did you just say a male can go a couple days without showering?
No, I'm not saying they can't.
Oh,
but I'm just saying, if you're comparing them, I mean, you should be shouting every day. But what I'm saying, you got to admit, it's the same way they say if like a man fall down drunk in the mud, he get up, brush himself off, he gonna be a man. A woman fall down in the mud drunk. I know it's double standard, but people are not gonna look at them the same way. Okay, a woman smell.
I think those Temu AirPods got to you. I don't know.
I'm just saying. I mean, you stink. They're gonna stink either way, both people.
Right.
But I'm saying it's gonna turn some heads. It's gonna turn some heads. So I'm just saying for the guys. For the guys, and being serious. That I mean, if you started off in love and all that stuff, and you got this issue. If it can't be resolved, then maybe you got to part ways. But I think you got to give it some effort. But Kim Kardashian, she didn't have a problem.
No, she did. They said she had a problem. She just ended up getting used to it.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, Don, thank you for the super chat. Diva, you have me rolling tonight. Well, I'm glad we could laugh tonight because y'all played Macaroni Tony out last night. I ain't going to get over it. I'm traumatized. Listen, funk is funk. Whether it's a male or a female, Michelle said, funk is funk and stank.
It is. It is. It is.
Julius, can you? Oh, did we lose Julius? Julius, can you deal with a partner that just don't smell good?
Fudge, no. Fill in the word.
Mm-hmm.
Because I will be going my separate ways. I will be looking elsewhere for different kind of options. No. Like, I understand if you don't shower right that day, you may have like a busy day. I understand. However, you ain't getting no cootie. You ain't getting no nothing.
You not getting in my bed.
Yeah.
Listen. Here's
that part. How you gonna put your funky body in my clean sheets? Where you do that at?
Where you do that at? You can't come to my sanctuary. Go in that shower.
Listen, I'm a bougie gay man when it comes to hygiene, and I don't care what nobody say. And I say, hell no.
Yeah. Listen, I was taught, I don't care how tired you are, wherever you was at during the day, you do not get in that bed until you wash that booty. You gotta wash.
Exactly. The shower will make you sleep even better if you're that tired.
It does.
It will make you even sleep better.
You sleep better when you clean.
Hey, Diva.
You walked in the street with no shoes on your feet and you think no, we're not doing that.
Hey, Diva.
No shoes on the feet? Wait a minute. Hold on. I missed that. No shoes on the feet?
Him and that wife walk around barefoot. Yes, they be wilding out. They walk around barefoot.
Oh my!
How can you do that though? My feet are so sensitive on the bottom. You mean walk the world barefoot?
And then he got her walking around with see-through clothes. He got her, and that's what I'm saying. He got you out here looking all kinds of crazy. At the very least he could do is take a bath.
At least that.
It's not he got her, Diva. It's her choice. She chose to walk out in these streets barefoot. She chose to wear these transparent clothing. It's not that he got her. It's her choice.
Hey Diva, you know what he can, you know what she can do. You know what she can do. She can take him to a car wash and just wash him off at that car wash.
Child, listen, I'm gonna hose him down.
Say it again, Bianca
Okay,
Edwards.
listen,
Diva,
guys.
do you think Kanye really has? I mean, because it has to be something wrong to walk around like that. If you smelling that bad, I mean, it got to be something wrong up here.
No, sometimes people get used to their own stench.
But Diva, I mean, at some point you smell. But at some point, I mean, it doesn't even matter. Even if you don't think you stink, if your butt ain't been in the water.
Listen, you listen, let me tell you something. I wash and then I wash again. And even if I don't leave my house that day, before I go to bed at night, I wash.
That's what I'm saying. Just some things you just supposed to know. Nobody should have to tell you, oh, you need to take a bath. Nobody should have to tell you, oh, I smell you. I mean, you should be showering before it get to that point.
Yeah. Well, listen, Bianca got herself into this. Good luck. I'm not going to be ignoring the stench. They said Kim Kardashian dealt with it.
Really?
She better than me. Yeah, I would have used it.
Well, you know what?
Can I just
That
say
shows
something
he
right quick,
never
Diva?
like to wash, y'all. That shows he. I bet you if his mother, God bless her soul, if she was alive and she could tell it, I believe she probably had to beat him into the bathtub.
That part. Oh, listen to Don. You know what? This is a good statement. He said, "My grandma used to say this: you smell you before they smell you. You better come on, grandma.
Come on, that's that basic fact right there.
You better tell them." But we're
That part.
We're gonna
Can I
move
say
on
something
from
real quick before
Kanye
you move
West.
on?
Yes, go ahead, Dustin.
I think I see a divorce in their future.
Child, listen. Yeah, she's something. I would have been going already. All right, guys. We're gonna move on to our next story. Do y'all remember that kid that Pow the teacher? He was in the 6th grade.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, child.
The one that you said that we should send him to prison because when you want to be grown, when you want to act grown, you gotta deal with the grown consequences. Is that it?
That kid. Well, you know what? Now I'm voting that this kid needs to be locked up. Something ain't right with this kid. Let's go.
Right.
Hold on 1 second here with this story, okay?
Who, the one that shot the white teacher?
Okay, everybody, give me a minute, please. Mute yourself. Virginia 6-year-old who wounded the teacher with the pow, he boasted about it. He said, I shot that be dead. Whew. So the 6-year-old Virginia boy who shot and wounded his teacher with his mother's pow later bragged about it to a school employee, shockingly claiming, I shot that be dead, according to a newly unsealed search warrant. Okay. After the first grader pow his teacher on January 6th, reading specialist Amy held the boy until the cops arrived, according to the documents. He said, I did it. I shot that be dead. The pint-sized pistol packer bragged, the docs showed. I got my mom's pow last night. The unsealed records of his statement to the investigators at the hospital said that when the child drew the gun from his pocket and pointed it at her, the teacher asked, what are you doing with that? The boy then fired one shot that struck her in the left hand and upper torso, right? The affidavit says that's the teacher, right? 25, she suffered a collapsed lung and other grave injuries, has filed a $40 million lawsuit, and it should have been $200 million, alleging the school officials ignored multiple warnings about the student leading up to the incident. She has since resigned. The documents also stated additional information about a previous incident in kindergarten in which the boy apparently attacked another teacher. This little boy was a menace to society. Several days after the pow, detectives interviewed the retired teacher who said the child choked her in September 2021. This kid did not belong in school. I'm sorry. The affidavit was they was able to obtain limited school records pertaining to the student from the Child Protective Services. The document reportedly reads, the incident to which the kindergarten teacher describes above is not found in these records because they hid it. The affidavit believes that the kindergarten teacher's incident and possibly others were not readily provided by the Newport News Public Schools, it adds. The student's mom, Deja Taylor, 25, has pleaded guilty in federal court to using marijuana while owning a firearm, which is illegal under U.S. law. She also faces state charges of felony child neglect and reckless storage of a firearm. Okay, so the mother is in trouble to the kid. That's the mother right there. Taylor's attorney, Jane, said she believed the firearm was secured on a high closet shelf with a trigger lock and that it was unclear how the boy got a hold of it. He's saying that Taylor faced mental health issues after having, an ectopic pregnancy and a miscarriage. She will plead guilty to the state charge of child neglect on August the 15th. Adding that a state charge of recklessly handling a firearm will be dropped at the time of the plea. I'm sorry, somebody got to go down for this. The cap for sentencing on child neglect charge is 6 months, the attorney said. Sentencing on the federal charges is scheduled October 18th and blah, 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 blah. Yo, this boy was a menace to society. He done choked up a teacher. Then he said, it's a lot. It's a lot. Denzel, what are your thoughts?
This is a hot mess.
Mm-hmm.
And then that picture of the mother, was that her mud shot?
I believe it was.
She looked like a hot mess. Like, Lord Jesus. He is 6 years old. And she had, so wait a minute. She had her pow laid around. Like
it was locked up. She claimed it was locked up, but
she lying.
She doesn't know how he got it.
Oh, she said she claimed that she locked it up.
Uh-huh.
I don't believe her. She lying. And then he's only 6 years old. See, that's why everybody shouldn't be parents, because of stuff like this. And then for him to joke about that, that's not funny. She's still alive, right?
Yes, she is.
Okay, thank God. Yeah, that's not something to brag about. That is sick. That is sick. That's why everybody shouldn't have a pow or any weapon. Some people don't need it. This is my opinion. Lock her up. Put him. You hear me?
Yes.
Okay, no, it's doing it again.
That's okay. Yeah, I'll just keep going.
Okay. No, I was just saying it gets on my nerves. But yeah, so lock her up. She needs to do some time. He needs to go to juvie, and he gets on some counseling, therapy, whatever. But this is a mess. This is a mess, and we got to stay prayed up. And these parents, they need to do better raising their children, because this type of story, it keeps happening again. And some kids act like they are grown, and it's like, wow. That's it, Diva.
All right, thank you. Hold on, let's just hear this for 1 second. Let me just unmute it. I think this is the one I wanted to play. Why is it
allegedly admitted doing it, according to newly released court documents, after a bullet hit first grade teacher Abby's classroom earlier this year. Allegedly admitted doing it. According to newly released court documents, after a bullet hit first grade teacher Abby's Werner in the hand and chest, the 6-year-old said, "I shot that expletive dead, and I did it. I got my mom's gun last night."
I remember him pointing the gun at me. I remember the look on his face.
The documents also claim the boy's mother, Deja Taylor, told police that she believed her firearm was stored in her purse with the trigger lock in place, and that her purse was placed on top of her bedroom dresser with the key for the gun lock under her mattress. But prosecutors say they never found a lockbox, a trigger lock, or a key to a trigger lock. They say they did find drugs and drug paraphernalia.
Do you feel in any way responsible for the shooting?
Yes, of course. That is my son. So I am, as a parent, obviously willing to take responsibility for him.
Abby's Werner needed several surgeries and has since resigned from teaching at Rich Neck Elementary. She sued the school district, claiming officials were warned that the student had a gun but dismissed the concerns. The school district not immediately commenting on the lawsuit, but said it is committed to ensuring the well-being and care of all students and staff. A lawyer for the boy's family said the child had extreme emotional issues, and we are all working to see that he improves every day. Court documents also revealed the boy once choked another teacher. As for his mother, she's pleaded guilty to weapons charges. She's also expected to answer to a child neglect charge next week.
Whew.
Jesus.
Lock his little beep.
All right. Whew.
Beep
all right, go ahead, Julius.
Lock his little beep beep behind up. It's like that article says clear as day. He was bragging about it. Has zero remorse. Lock his little behind up. His emotional issues put aside. Lock him up.
All right. Felicia, what are your thoughts?
Well, I believe that all children ought to be loved and protected. And this little boy has not been. I'm not clear on whether or not they returned him to his mother. Is that?
No, they did not. Not right now. And this is not in this particular article, but I read up on before. I want to say he's with the grandfather, the mother's father.
Well, I don't believe that everyone should go to the criminal justice system. I don't believe it reforms the majority of folks, but I do believe that he needs serious intervention. I believe this is learned behavior. I think this is probably what he learned from his mother. I don't know how come he knows so much, what he's done to people, where things are, how he hates. He seems to hate deeply. Maybe he's gotten it from programming at home. Maybe the programming has been the child care provider. I don't know, but I don't believe that he should be in a jail. And I certainly don't believe he should be in juvenile whatever. I believe he should get intense behavioral therapy and counseling, and he should do a deep research into what, because you mentioned something about a miscarriage and an ectopic pregnancy, what this mother may have been given to conceive or during the pregnancy that may have altered something in this child. But no to any kind of incarceration.
The school they failed in this situation also, right? And they failed because in the original story, it was told that this child was never supposed to be in school unattended. So between the mother, the father, and whoever else, they will always accompany this child to school. That particular day, the child was in school without someone, accompanying the child. So there's so many ways that went wrong. But if you had this child and he choked the teacher before, I'm sorry, he should have never been back in that school. And this is part of the reason why we're losing so many good teachers, because they can't deal with the nonsense. It's like, protect the teachers. Protect the teachers. It's like these teachers are getting beat up by students. They don't get a lot of pay as is. They're using their money to buy supplies for their classrooms. And so this child had a documented history of some type of, I'm going to say, social and mental issues, and they let it fall through the cracks. Yeah, protect the educators, or we're going to be at home trying to educate our kids ourselves. It's not right. Nikki, your thoughts?
Well, I don't know. I have a different perspective. I think that I don't agree that the mom should be charged with felony neglect. And the reason I feel that way is because there's plenty of stories that all of us have heard over the years where a child unalived their brother because somehow they got their parents' firearm and whatnot. And I don't remember those people being charged with felony neglect. It happens. It's not, I highly doubt I would say this, a small percentage of parents would, I feel like, intentionally leave out a gun, like that. That's just my feeling about it. But I also feel like the mom is not responsible. I'm sorry, I'm saying that the wrong way. The mom is responsible, but I do not think it's her fault. Meaning she's responsible for her 6-year-old, right? She's responsible for making sure things are put away. She's responsible for making sure she teaches him right things to do, all of those things. But what I'm saying is when I say she's not at fault, it's because we can't control external things. We just can't. They're out of our control. You could teach your child whatever you could teach them the best of the best of the best. You could send them to the best of the best of the best. But if we're going to blame every parent where some unfortunate situation happens, then we need to and put them in prison or lock them up. Then let's blame every single parent where their child is in prison right now. Put all of the parents in prison if we're gonna do that. I just think it's an unfair thing to do, and I think it's unfair to say she's lying. How do you know she's lying? I don't know this lady, so I can't speak.
I'm gonna let you finish, Nikki, but let's throw in some facts here, some stuff we're clearly not making up. She had a firearm in her home. Heck yeah, you're responsible. You got a firearm in your home.
Said she was.
You're forgetting something else, Steve.
No, I'm gonna add it. She didn't have it properly locked up. It was in her
She
purse,
didn't have it
but it
legally
was
either.
locked, but it was this, it was that. And when they went and searched her home, they could not find a lockbox in her home. On top of that, she had drug paraphernalia in her home. So no. We can't do generic here. Let's do this particular case right here. In this particular case, with this particular mother, in this particular situation, yeah, I'm proud of that mother for saying, you know what? I'm responsible. I messed up. I was wrong. Yeah, you was that wrong because you got a whole kid under your watch. Not just, nobody's perfect, but you know that your kid has some issues because you can't send your kid off to school by himself. That kid had to be accompanied to school every day with somebody by his side. So knowing all that, and then on top of that, you're going to have a pow-pow in your house. Not only do you need, if you are going to have one, you need to have that thing on lockdown. Matter of fact, you need to lock down your kitchen knives too. But you allegedly is drugged out, perhaps. This kid gets the pow-pow, and fortunately, that teacher is alive. Traumatized for life, but not just the teacher being traumatized for life, so the kids in that school. And there's other stories out there. I can't bring up every article for this one live. He was traumatizing other kids too. That school gets an F. And I ain't one to quick with the lawsuits, but the suit need to be even bigger. I'm suing the district, the school, the everything involved, the everybody. I'm suing them all because you knew this boy was on some type of plan where he should have never stepped foot in that school without his guardians or whoever he was supposed to come to school with. Y'all let him into school that day, but before that, he done choked up a teacher. Usually when people have behaviors like this and they get away with it, it just levels up. it don't decrease, it levels up. So first it was the choking, now it's the pow pow. But go ahead, Nikki. I just had to throw that in there.
I completely understand what you're saying, but I did say from the beginning, I said the mother is responsible because she's responsible for her child. I just don't think that it is her fault. I think you can do your best as a parent and you can put things away or try to hide things. And unfortunately, children will find them. And that's why I said, you know, we've all heard stories where one child found a gun and was playing or whatever the case may be and accidentally shot their sibling or something like that. Now, granted, it was an accident. This little boy doesn't sound like it was an accident. But I'm just saying those types of things happen. I'm sorry?
Those parents are in jail.
I don't know about that. I'm just saying over the years I've heard that, which is why people say lock up your guns and this, that, and the third. I just don't think it's fair to put the parent in prison or in jail with something because of something her child did that she didn't know the child did. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't want them to put me in prison if my child got a hold of my gun and went to school and did something. I'm like, are you serious right now? Now, I feel badly for the teacher. I feel badly for her experience. Of course, I think what happened is atrocious and terrible. I just don't subscribe to the idea that you're responsible as a parent for the remainder of your life for every single thing your child does that is bad. You're not. And that's why I said, how many people are in prison? Should we just...
No, but I think sometimes you add on to the topic at hand. So no, I would never say that every single parent for the rest of your life, you're responsible for what your children do and you should be locked up. I'm talking about this situation right here, right now, with these details. Even the mother, and I got mad respect for that, instead of wasting the taxpayers' money, the mother even said, I'm responsible. Yeah, you're responsible. If I'm going to have me a pow-pow in my house, I can't be loosey-goosey with it. And if somebody comes in my house and gets a hold of it, then I'm responsible. I don't know if anybody knows. You're even responsible if you throw a party in your house and you serve alcohol in your house and the people get out there to driving and you let somebody leave your house drunk, yo, they coming back for you. That's why I don't play them games. No. I throw dry parties. You're going to get a mocktail. It ain't going to go down on my watch. It ain't coming back on me. It's not going to come back on my insurance. It's not going to come back on none of that. And that's what alcohol, and I'm telling you, that's a fact. You can look that up. Have a party, an event in your house. Overserve somebody. Let them go out there and do some drunk driving and crash up and kill somebody and themselves or whatever. It could come back to you. You can't even, I know in Jersey, I don't know if it's everywhere because I'm not, on the laws with every single state, but you can't even drive with open bottles of alcoholic beverages in your car. So you can't even have the people leave if you got an open wine, you don't drink wine, you be like, here, take it. No, can't do it. They get caught or pulled over, you could get in trouble too. So we are responsible, whether it's our child or somebody else. We're responsible for stuff when it's under our watch.
Diva,
and that's a point blank in a period, and it's the law.
Can I say this?
Yes, you can. No, Julius, wait, give me a minute because I got more people to go around to. Okay. Wayne, you're up. You're on mute.
Okay. I always say the fruit don't fall too far from the tree. Uh-huh. Okay. Kids just don't talk like that. But in the time that we live in now, I mean, kids watch these shows. I'm quite sure the other thing I wanted to say is that he should have never even known a gun was in the house at 6 years old. He should have never even known that a gun was in the house. Okay. And for him to be able to find it or however, that's some negligence. Okay. I'm not one on putting everybody in jail, but this woman is responsible. Okay. I think she needs to get either something to teach her, if she has to go to class herself or whatever, probation, something. She got to know this is just not going to be a walk in the park. Okay, your child went out and shot somebody at 6 years old, and nobody's going to get blamed. Okay, that young boy, I'm quite sure this is probably not the first time. Okay, I've raised an autistic child. I got my grandson when he was 4 years old because his mother and they couldn't handle him. Okay, and when you have a child like that and you put them in school, if first of all, they need to be diagnosed that they have something, because children just aren't coming off like that. And if they are diagnosed, then in the schools, they're placed in classes where teachers are watching over them and have special teachings. They get an IEP, individual evaluation planning or something like that. Okay. And I was at the school every month, every time it came around for evaluation of the IEP, I was there. There was a team of professionals, doctors, the nurse, the teachers, and all that would come together and we'll talk about the IEP, the progress. Okay. You can't just when kids have issues like that. And I noticed my grandson had some issues when he was 1. Okay. Now he's fine now. He's studying to go in the military. He was diagnosed under the umbrella of autistic related disabilities, but he got help when he was little, when he was young. And I'm a grandfather, and it was like I was raising kids all over again. Okay. And I was at that school every time. Okay. He had episodes where he was turning over tables at 5 years old. And that's because the doctor prescribed medicine to him. What's that medicine everybody was on? The kids was on. But anyway, he shouldn't have been on medicine. Okay, but I saw
Adderall?
that. The other one. The other
Ritalin?
one huh?
Is it Ritalin?
Ritalin.
Yeah, that.
Ritalin. And I didn't know what they was giving him was Ritalin. And the teachers, I'm saying, the teachers at the school, when I started getting notes home every day that Jordan did this at this time, 11:30, Jordan did this, Jordan did. I'm like, well, what's going on? So I went up there because the teachers and the school nurses, they're not going to cross that line. They're not going to tell you whatever you're doing or medicine, because they're not going to cross that line between teacher and doctor or nurse and doctor. Okay. But they cared enough about my grandson that they came to my house just to see if he was all right. And when I told him, I said, well, he's on this medicine. And he was fortunate enough to have older teachers who had dealt with children. And she told me, said, Mr. Finley, said, I can't tell you what to do, but she knew Ritalin wasn't for him. Ritalin had actually reversed. She said, Jordan used to be remorseful if he did something wrong. He was, sorry. She said, the stuff he was on turned him into a monster. I took him off the Ritalin. The next day, he was back to himself. But all I'm saying is that the children, when they're young like that, they need special attention. They can't be, they have to be, you have to watch what they're watching on television.
Wayne. Please don't use the word GUNS in the chat. And try not to use it when you're speaking. That's why I said pow pow. I know sometimes it slips out, but definitely don't write it in the message in your chat, please. Guys, I don't want them to shut us down. Okay, go ahead, Wayne.
Yeah, but I think he needs to. I don't think he's jailed for a 6-year-old. Come on. I mean, it's something wrong, and he needs special attention. And he's going to need this, whatever training it takes. If he needs to be on Medicaid, whatever it is, it's going to take a while. It's just, he's going to have to be in a facility where they can monitor him and see, because if he did this one time, like you said, lock up because he may all of a sudden one night, boom, oh, I think I want to, my mom. So, like I said, these children, they don't come in the world like this. And however they do come in the world, it's the parents' responsibility to know what's going on with their children, knowing what their children, who are they around, their surroundings, you know. And at that age, the parent not only is their fault and their responsibility. Now, because it's their fault, I'm not saying you got to drag them through the mud, lock them up. You know, the teacher didn't, you know, is still alive. Okay, so this would be a good teaching moment, a good opportunity to try to get her son into counseling, to do whatever he needs to do. The same thing with her, to learn, what did I miss? What didn't I see? You know, these are opportunities, and she should just be grateful that it didn't end up the other way. And like I said, she admitted herself, you know, so I don't think a harsh punishment, but they're going to have to do something so she'll know.
She also, part of her charges were she also lied on her firearm application, because on the application it says that you have to agree or say that you're not using any illegal substances. She said no, and she was. So I think that is also part of the reason why she went ahead and accept the responsibility, because she also lied on the application. And I know you said in the chat, Nikki, that people in certain states, you know, because it's the norm for them with the pow-pows or whatever, they teach their kids. But if you're teaching a kid who is mentally not stable how to use or be around a pow-pow, then I question your stability too. And I question your parenthood, right? I'm not going to put an underage child behind a car. I'm not going to give an underage child alcohol. I'm not going to give a child that is not stable a deadly weapon. So, you know, we're not talking the same things here. I can understand if maybe you're in one of those states where it's the norm for that state, and you got a child that, because we never know, right? But that seems like all the mental capacity is there, and they're mature enough to handle it. I could see you doing that. But somebody who needs to go to school cannot go into school without a parent being with them. That's definitely not a candidate that you would be saying, here, let me show you how to use this pow-pow. Okay, Adele, or even letting that child know that one is in the house. And on top of that, leaving it open and out in the open for that child to have an opportunity to grab it onto it. Adele, what are your thoughts? And I'm listening to you. I'm just going to grab water, but I want you to go ahead and talk.
Okay. So far, my mindset and where I'm thinking is in line with what Felicia says and what Wayne said. And just to add a little bit more to that, I worked for a long time in the school board with kids exactly like this. And usually what happens is that the school itself is usually responsible for the funding. And you know what, I just wanted to say, like, I send God's grace to all of them, because 3 lives has changed in this situation. And I hope that God's grace go to all 3 of them. That being said, this sounds like a child who was
Adele, I'm gonna let you finish, but it's not 3 lives, it's that whole freaking school in the community.
Yeah, I'm just saying directly right now. Indirectly, yes, but directly, I'm just talking about the 3 main people. But
let me just add this. I'm gonna say directly, because a whole classroom of kids was in the room when the teacher got pow-powed.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Yeah, no, a whole classroom of kids was in there. She had to hold herself up, get those kids out the classroom. Okay, then she crawled to the principal, like the main office, and then people in the office had to help her as she was bleeding, and then another teacher had to hold that kid down until the popo got there.
Yeah, did you mention that before?
That was part of the first article, but it happened in the school, in the classroom, with other kids in the classroom.
Okay, so I'll include that as well. because that must be very traumatizing to every single child there if they don't have nightmares and effects. So all of them should have some form of therapy. Listening to this story and just a lot of things they've been saying about this child and his history, because his history shows something very clear. I'm just wondering maybe that the mom was on some kind of drugs, because he reminded me of a fetal alcohol syndrome child. They don't have any self-regulation. They just react. They just spurt. They need someone there to say, wait a minute, think about this or whatever. Because they don't have it. Even when they become adults, it still won't be there. And it's not something you can teach them, because what happens is that there's something that was not developed in the process. Because if you're taking drugs while you're pregnant, the development of the fetus is not the same as a normal birth. So what happens is that the child now lives forever without that part of their system in place. And yeah, I worked with someone who it's like you're always putting out fires, and it's just that you have to remind yourself all the time, because they present well in different situations, but just anytime something goes wrong, their reaction is so fast, so fierce, so intense. And even that conversation of what he says, he won't think that was wrong for him to say it. He did it, and that's what I'm saying, and that's what I meant, and that's how they present themselves. And it's one of those things where it's almost like you understand it, because it's not understand it in the way that it's not something that they're trying to do, but it's something that's a part of them now, because there's a part of them that's damaged. And that being said, that means that he needs the support. He shouldn't have been there without someone who was watching him all the time, and also be very mindful that he doesn't have this. And it's obvious that he was either listening to his mom or whoever's around him. From those, even though he has an issue, those talks and the things that he was saying has to come from somewhere. And his behavior is going to present from what he knows. He may still have the reflex and all of those stuff, but it wouldn't be so intense to get a gun. If the gun wasn't there for him to access, he wouldn't have gotten the gun. All of those things. So, in the end,
guys,
like
be mindful when you're saying the word GUN, please.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. If the GUN wasn't available, he wouldn't have been able to get it. If maybe he had a little bit more guidance in the way that he deals with things, it would have been different. And that's why I pray for all of them. I hope that, at the end of the day, we don't know how his mom life has been. And it's sad, but it's like there's no program a person has to go through to be a parent. So when the child comes, everyone is just trying to figure out what they're going to do. So I really hope and pray that the trauma that this teacher went through, she can actually move on and have a successful life after this. That the mom, I'm glad she took responsibility, because I do believe some part of it she's responsible for. If only that she was a mother, but on top of it, I don't believe what she said about the gun. I believe he's at act. There's no way he's gonna pick up a gun.
Adele, please stop saying GUN. You're gonna kill me.
Yeah, there's no way he's gonna pick it up, figure out how to take off the safety, figure out how to use it exactly, figure out there's has to be some history with that too, for him to know how to handle it. Because I couldn't just pick up one. I've never touched one, and I don't think I could just pick up one and start using one. Like maybe out of reasoning, but he's 6 years old. So yeah, I really pray for them.
Thank you. Yeah. Sebastian, your thoughts?
First, I want to say this. Growing up, my father was my father did, he was a hotel manager, and he also did armed security. So growing up, I did grow up around pals. I did grow up around them. Mm-hmm. But I will say this. My father was a very responsible parent. It was always locked in a safe. It was always somewhere that I would probably never be able to find it. The only time I would probably see it is if he left. Like when he goes out to work. That's the only time I probably would have seen it. Mm-hmm. This mother, I forgot who said they should not be held responsible, should be punished. This mother committed a federal crime by having marijuana and owning a firearm. That is a federal crime. That's exactly why people who get the medical marijuana card, they're not able to buy firearms because marijuana is a illegal substance federally. Not state by state, but federally. You cannot get a pow pow if you have a medical marijuana card. This mother committed a crime. Not just the negligence of this child. She committed a crime with owning this pow pow, knowing that she uses Mary Jane.
Facts.
She committed a crime. So she should definitely be punished.
Mm-hmm.
And this 6-year-old, I'm sorry, Diva. I'm so sorry. I had compassion for this 6-year-old in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I was rooting for mental health treatment. I was saying all these things.
Mm-hmm.
This 6-year-old needs intensive care.
Mm-hmm.
This 6-year-old needs to be in a psychiatric facility for children. Yes, this 6-year-old needs to be in a psychiatric facility for kids so they can try to get rid of these tendencies in his head. Because he should not be able to play video games with anything that has to do with firearms or anything like that. Because this type of behavior that he has, it probably will get worse as he ages.
Come on now. You better talk.
It will get worse as he grows. It will
you
get
gotta
worse
talk about
if
it.
they don't stop it now. And that's why if I was the family, I would put him in a psychiatric facility in-house. He needs to be watched. They need to make sure they see all his drawings. They need to make sure they take away the cell phones and everything. All this kid needs to learn now is books. That's it. Books. Because this is exactly how the Jeffrey Dahmers develop. It starts in their youth. It starts young. We cannot allow this nonsense. And second, the teachers, they're not paid enough to deal with this type of nonsense. They don't have that much authority over these kids anymore. These kids have gone insane. The kids are insane now. Teachers don't know what to do with kids anymore. At this point, sooner or later, we're going to start hearing teachers want the ability to beat children again, to discipline them. They have
teachers should be able to teach and not have to be security guards, police officers,
parents.
You should be able to just teach. And I'm gonna let you finish, but I have to say this. I wholeheartedly agree with you. This kid needs intensive therapy. Let's be clear. I was trying to think of the diagnosis in my head, and I'm not saying this kid has it, but this kid has something. It's called defiant something disorder. This kid probably has multiple diagnoses, and he needs intense therapy. And
are you talking about oppositional defiance?
Yeah, something. Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Everybody wants the soft treatment until it knocks on their door, until that kid impacts your home, until that kid unalives maybe your family member. Then you're going to be looking back like, oh, he choked the teacher, he pow-powed another teacher, and y'all let this kid stay on the street, and now my kid is gone. No, I'm sorry. We sometimes
that's what happened with Nicholas Cruz, Diva. Nicholas Cruz, the Parkland unaliver. That's exactly what he had mental issues ever since he was a child, and they were just like slightly brushing it off a little, doing all these things like yeah, he could do he'll have his meetings like 3 times a week and stuff, but he needed to be in house, but they allowed him to be out in the streets, and that's exactly what he did. And he unalived 17 people, injured I think 40 something people at that school.
And so my thing is that when you see a thing, You got to look at that thing and say, okay, you know what? Let me assess this and what do we do about it? So many people now are traumatized because they allowed one kid to stay in the school and traumatize all the kids. And it wasn't until they done hurt half the school and they like, okay, now this kid got to go. I know a kid that was kicked out of 7 schools. Well, how many more schools we going to put the kid in? How many more people do he have to impact or she has to impact and traumatize before we keep finding another school? The school ain't the problem. The kid is. You got kicked out of 7 schools. Does that make sense to you? We need to stop looking for schools because we don't need it. You got to homeschool this kid or something. But we can't have this kid keep going around and traumatizing everybody, teachers, security guards, everything and everybody, and hurt somebody's kid all in the name because you said this kid needs to socialize with other kids. Hold on, wait a minute. We tried this 7 times. What else we gonna do here?
There's special workers out there that sometimes the school board is not taking access to because, like you said, the teachers need to teach. So if you have a kid like that, there needs to be additional resources taken. I think maybe this is what Nikki was talking about earlier. I'm not sure. But what happens is that if they recognize that there was something wrong, usually you don't ask for a parent to come in the school. You get a special SA, EA, or even child and youth workers, whatever it may be. I don't know if their budget allowed it, but usually those are the avenues. And I'm talking from Canadian thing now. Maybe the budget's not.
I understand, but Adele, let me just let the other people finish speaking on this topic, and then I could circle back to you. Oh, but my thing is, if you don't have the money, I really listen. I done been to a lot of schools and tell them get it together now, because what we're not going to do is this right here. Not under my watch. You got to get up in these people's face. Not in my watch, because if y'all continue this on this path right here, I'm going to tell everybody. Because that should have never happened to that teacher. If the kid already choked one teacher, what was next? You got to go. I'm sorry. You choked the teacher. You got to go.
They're called
paraprofessionals. On having a security guard armed security sit with this kid every day, he got to go. Sebastian, finish your thought, then I got to move on. Go ahead to the next person. Did you finish, Sebastian?
Oh, those people who I think Adele are talking about in America, they're called paraprofessionals. They're supposed to be with the kids. They're aides. But as I'm saying, if this kid has done all these things before, clearly, as you said, Diva, it's not the school. It's the parent and the kid, and they need to make sure that their child is.
I'm not laughing at you, Sebastian.
I know you're not. I saw the comments. Oh God. Okay. Yeah. It's just wrong. People need to discipline their children.
What did it say?
Keep little Norman. She said, "Keep little Norman Bates at home."
Oh my God! Oh wow! Oh wow!
Oh my God! That. I'm sorry, Fifi. Fifi, you behaved for months in a row, Fifi. What happened? Don't do that to me. All right, Sebastian, did you finish? Leo, did I come to you?
Yes, I finished.
Okay.
No. Pretty much I'm in the camp of you can't blame the baby. The baby came out with the sickness.
Okay.
And everybody failed this baby. 6 years old, that's a baby. At 5 years old, 5 years old, this little baby was trying to choke out a teacher. Really? It is everybody and everything failed. And I'm not even. Do I think that I honestly appreciate the fact that the mother said it was my responsibility, because what she's saying is that she knew her baby had problems, but she didn't take it seriously. She didn't take it seriously. She could not foresee that her baby would grab the pow and take it all the way to school
Mhm.
and try to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
She did not foresee that, because what parent would?
Right.
I remember Adam Lanza. Do y'all remember Adam Lanza? Adam Lanza was the young man that powwowed the 26 kids up there in Newtown. And they knew he was straight off his rocker. And he had intense therapy. And those parents still allow him to have powwows, access to the powwows at the house. And he also took the life, unalived his parents, his mother.
I'm remembering.
Right? And then he went to the school and did it. And they had him under intense therapy. The thing is that particular mother of the 6-year-old did not comprehend the fact of how dangerous her child is, and still is. And just like Sebastian said, it's gonna only get worse because he got to go through puberty, y'all. With all the hormones and all of that's happening, and he is seriously damaged. This little baby is seriously damaged, and I don't know what resources there are available. I don't know how this process will go about. I understand that someone else is now parenting him, but for him to say, "Yeah, I killed that be dead," I mean, what little 6-year-old is talking like that if they have not been exposed to this type of language? The mother looked like she probably talked like that. She probably got the pow in her house because she thinks she a bad bee or something like that. A 6-year-old. A 6-year-old. It is. I don't want nobody in jail for this. If the mother got to serve time, that just is what it is. It's too bad. But I do not want a 6-year-old in juvenile or in prison or anything like that, because he is a victim of circumstance. And the only thing we can do is try to prevent others from being a victim of his circumstance. And I don't know how that's done. I don't know what the resources look like to do that. I know it all costs money. I don't know what their program is, but it's a lot of blame to go around, because the school knew he had problems. The mama knew he had problems. What can he do about his problems? There's nothing this little baby can do about his problem.
Whew, I hear you.
Also, Diva, we keep forgetting the fact that they had marijuana in their home. You're not supposed to have marijuana in your home as an owner of a firearm. That is a federal crime. Hunter Biden was actually charged and convicted of said crime. You
Now, we ain't doing this Hunter Biden because he got away with a lot, but I hear you.
You can't have that substance in your home with a firearm.
He ain't pow nobody at the school.
Well, that's worse too, but still, you're not supposed to have that at your house. People who have the medical Mary Jane card, they can't get it. People who become proxies for people who need the Mary Jane, they can't get a firearm card because of that. It's a federal crime. This woman needs to be up in that jail, and her son needs to be in intensive care.
I think she was doing what she know to do. I don't automatically. Yes, she was wrong, and she admitted that it was her fault. So it's not to beat her down. She did, as you know, people do what they know to do, and a lot of times when it comes to parenting, parents do it wrong, right? It ain't no book out here for your particular child. She did not realize what crisis her baby was in. And I'm going to continuously call this 6-year-old a baby, because a 6-year-old is a baby. And that little 6-year-old was running the show. The 6-year-old was running the show at the house. The 6-year-old was running the show at the school. And it was not even his fault, but he was running the show. Everybody was scared of this little 6-year-old.
Yeah, that's
He choking out the teachers?
Yeah, that's fact.
Really? Like I said, I did a little stunt as a substitute teacher, but it was middle school, and middle school is a war zone that I cannot take. They doing manipulative games. They trying to kill each other emotionally and almost physically, these kids. So I couldn't imagine that same spirit in a 6-year-old.
It's a lot. It's a whole lot. It definitely is a whole lot. It's a lot. It's all I could say. It's definitely a lot. I'm sorry. I was just trying to pause something. Oh my God. Anybody else before we move on from this subject? It's very sad.
Yes. Parents have to be proactive. Parents have to be proactive in their child's education because there are resources available out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My grandson had assistance. He was on SSI.
Mm-hmm.
He received a check every month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He had therapists. The school, he had special teachers. They weren't regular teachers. These were teachers who actually had training for children with these kind of disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
Now my grandson at 4 years old, they had to put him out to daycares. When I got him down here, I put him in a program for the summer. The second day they asked me to come get him and not bring him back.
Mm.
Okay. Now I work with him. He was in, like I said, the good school. He was in public schools, but I sought out the resources for him. And it was a struggle, because especially at my age, raising a 4-year-old, but I knew he had to have some kind of special attention. He got it. He's 18 years old now. And I'm just so glad that I did that. I was able to do that. He went back to his mother when he was, I think, about 11.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I was just glad he got that training, in a stable home, to be, and like I said, now
God bless you.
To go to Air Force.
God bless you, Wayne. So here's the thing. Let me say this too. This is why I encourage people to not cut off their village. I don't know if y'all can still hear me. Am I dragging or being slow? Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, I can still hear you.
Yeah. Don't cut off your village. You see what I mean? Your I don't know if it was your son's child or who, but your daughter's son is very fortunate that they had you, because you had the patience and the time, and you did the right thing and looked out for the right resources to help your child, to help your grandchild. And so again, I'm saying that I'm not giving, I don't judge everything the same. In this particular case, I'm not letting up off this mother because you were smoking, you was doing the most, then you had a deadly weapon in your home, and you at the very least, you knew your child has something going on. And I know it's not easy to get resources. I know a lot of times you have to fight and fight and fight. Do you know what I mean? But how can you fight that fight and you busy doing all of this other stuff over here too? You smoking the marijuana, you doing this, you doing that, whatever the case may be. So all I'm saying is that, yeah, this kid, I felt bad in the sense that, maybe didn't stand a chance because of not only having whatever he had is going on, but then having the parents that he had. But they knew enough to know this, Both of them, from the first article, when we first did this on Trending Topics, they said between the mother and the father, one of them had to escort him to school every day and stay with him in school all day. Because when I first read it, I was like, well, dang, how do they work? Adele, you wanted to say something? I'm gonna move on to the next topic.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on, like, and Wayne again said a bit on that same grain. The idea that it's all lies on the mom is, I do believe she's responsible, but I also know there's resources and stuff that the school has, and they're aware of it, and they could, I hope, had the funding, because there's different places that don't have it, and I don't want to say that they had it and not use it, but I want to say that they could have also reached out to see what they could access, because at the end of the day, like, when you see things like that happening, especially like the diagnosis, like you said something about oppositional compliance. I've worked with clients that have oppositional compliance. It usually doesn't go this far. Not saying it can't, but like has to be something internally that's going on with this kid for him to be so vicious, so fast, so young. It almost feels like it's biological, and he's like a air trigger temper. And it keeps on reminding me of fetal alcohol syndrome. And that's something where the mom is on drugs or alcohol. And it's I don't want to diagnose anything, but that would explain a lot of things. And I just hope that these kind of situations with the guns and, you know, situations like that is known but not followed up on, needs to be looked at and then corrected in future situations, because it's one thing for it to happen, but what do we do moving forward? Like, these have to change. The NRA, like, we keep on saying it, we keep on I'm saying it, know that I'm in Canada, but we cry for you guys too when we see people getting shit up in schools and stuff like that. It's like, how many times is it going to happen before something change in the regulation and things like that? And who checks the bags of someone like a kid like that? Like, there's kids that I've worked on before. Before you go to school, your bag needs to be checked. When you come home, your bag needs to be checked, because they have a tendency of taking things and doing things not only to other people but to themselves. Was that an issue? Why wasn't he checked? Why was with that person? And if he came without someone, he should be turned back.
They clearly messed up that day, because he wasn't even supposed to be in school by himself. But let me move forward. Thank you. Say, I have a child on the spectrum. The school should have stepped in by kindergarten. He should have at least he did have an IEP. That kid did, because the parents had to go to school with the kid every day. But they did not go to school with him on that day. And I don't want to put out misinformation out there. Every child that is born fetal alcohol syndrome and are born, with substances in their system does not turn out like this, and does not have control over their emotions. It's not every child.
Did it come off like I was saying that?
Huh?
Did it come off like I was saying that?
That's what it was sounding like. I just wanted to clear that up with everybody.
Okay, I actually work in this field, and I've worked with people who have
I'm
that.
not saying you don't, Adele. I'm not accusing you of anything. I do want to move forward to the next story. I just want to make sure everybody knows out there.
I don't want to come off wrong, and I want to make sure that if it came that way, that's not what I meant. But they do have a tendency to have an air trigger reaction, because that's part of the diagnosis. No matter what it
we got it. We got it, Adele. We got it.
Thank you.
Please hit the like button, everybody. Okay, so I want to move forward. This next story is very sad and unfortunate, and it's like it has a lot of levels to it. So, a prominent doctor in New York, hematology oncology doctor, very prominent doctor, and I'm going to condense the story a little bit. Had a baby. She unalived the baby, and then she unalived herself. And so initially, when the story came out, people was like, oh my God, what could have happened? Then they updated the story and said most likely it was postpartum depression. Then they updated the story again and said that the cops were called to the house several times prior to the final incident. Again, it's another case of it's another case of not like there's signs there. And it's like, how many signs do you need before someone steps in and helps before we get to this particular situation here where a baby is no longer here and neither is the mom? And I just want to add this to the scenario. I'm going to bring up some stuff. First of all, doctors, God bless them. God bless them, because they have a lot to carry in their psyche every day. Okay. But really, God bless these oncology doctors. There's certain fields that you see more death and dying than you do in other fields. Oncology happens to be one of them. I always say an extra special prayer for the ICU nurses, because they see a lot more of people losing their life maybe than other nurses. And I always say, depending upon where you're working at in the emergency room, I always say, God bless all of the people that work in the emergency room, because some of them see the most. Okay. I know in my state, New Jersey, there is the one hospital like in Newark. When my girlfriend worked there, the amount of people that she saw on a regular basis that were coming there with GUN wounds was out of control, over the top. Where the hospital I worked in, I mean, if you saw one, it was rare. Where she would see them on a regular basis every night. It became the norm for her. So I always, it's just, and to constantly see that, it has to do a little something to your mental. So I'm thinking this woman is she was, God rest her soul, in the baby, a prominent New York City doctor. And on top of that, she had a baby. They're thinking that she most likely was dealing with postpartum depression and psychosis in order for her to actually go in the room, unalive her baby, and then herself. So let's get into this story. Let me see. I hope this is the video I want to play. I feel like my thing is going a little slow today. And then I'm going to read a little bit of the article.
Oncologist is dead after state police say she shot her baby and then herself inside her Westchester County home. News 12's Carol Wilkinson is in Somers, hearing exclusively from those who knew her. Carol.
A very sad night here in Somers, as you might imagine, Tima. Now, to say that Dr. Crystal Cassetta had an impact, a profound impact on everyone who knew her, well, that would definitely be an understatement. Case in point, her next door neighbor, who considered the young physician a friend.
I had no idea. Oh my God.
Howdalus Carballo reduced to heartfelt tears upon hearing that her young neighbor, oncologist Crystal Cassetta, had not only committed suicide, according to state police, had taken the life of her infant as well. How old was the baby?
Like I said, she had to be months, maybe 4 months old. She's a little person.
Mrs. Carballo says Dr. Cassetta lived in the home on Granite Springs Road with her husband and child, and they appeared to be a loving young family.
I say, this is shocking. This is shocking. I don't understand. But beautiful. I wish you could see her. Beautiful young woman. Very, very young, very petite. Just sweetest lady. And her husband, big guy, very nice guy, really fussed over her.
The doctor was a leader in the fields of hematology and medical oncology at Mount Sinai, a graduate from the Albany Medical College, where she was inducted into the Gold Humanism Honor Society. She worked as an active investigator of breast cancer clinical trials. But now, police are investigating how a life so well lived ended so tragically. Now, we want to add maybe a personal note here. If you or someone you know is struggling with depression or thoughts of suicide, we ask that you reach out to the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. You can reach them and get help simply by dialing 988. In Somers, Carol Wilkinson.
Whew. It's a heavy story. It's a lot. I will link the article. I don't want to go through the whole thing. It's so sad. Out where she lived, $1 million home. They said that, she was suffering from depression, but they also said that the ambulance and the police was called to her house several times before this incident actually happened. So just kind of indicating that she probably was suffering from postpartum depression before, this unfaithful day like that happened. It's so sad, very heartbreaking. And again, like they said, if there's anybody out there, please, when we go around and talk, watch your words, because the S word is problematic on YouTube. This whole video is probably going to be a little bit problematic, but we're going to continue on with this discussion. So please watch if you want to say the S word. Watch again, if you backtrack with the pow word, just kind of, say the S word, guys. Thank you, Sasuke. You're helping me out tonight. Yeah, so be careful with your wording when we talk about this. But definitely, if you know someone that's suffering with depression, especially, because we're talking about this particular case here, postpartum depression, try to help them get some help before it's too late, because it's very serious. They felt like, another article I read, it pretty much felt like she had a psychotic break the day that she did this to herself and to the baby. So I'll go ahead and start up top. Leo, what are your thoughts?
My prayers go out to the surviving family. I mean, where do you look for this to happen when there's a narrative out there that says when you have your baby, everybody's happy and everybody's joyful? And to get caught in this type of psychosis, this is a heavy one right here. And she unalived her baby. Does it say how she did that?
Or with a pow.
That woman was suffering deep. That woman was suffering deep.
Yeah. So Kat said, I now work in maternal services. Thank you, Diva. Postpartum psychosis, PPP, is a mental health emergency. It affects a person's sense of reality. People may attempt to harm themselves or their newborn. So sad. Very sad.
It is terrible. This is horrible. I just don't. The only thing that this platform has allowed us to be able to put in the atmosphere other trains of thought, to keep an eye on our loved ones, to keep an eye on the people that we know, to introduce a different type of conversation about things that are going on in our communities. I don't know what her people was. I don't know her being a first-time mother. Where is her mother? I don't know what's going on with that. But to introduce this type of conversation introduces something that we can plant a seed to make sure that we are looking out for each other and to make sure we keep an eye on each other. It is just terrible that this woman felt that her child and herself would be better off not being here. That's the psychosis of the S word. They feel deep down that everybody will be better off without them being here. It doesn't matter what socioeconomic status you are. It doesn't matter whether or not you're male or female. It doesn't matter. Once that happens into the brain, it is an unreasonable thought for us that's all on our level mental capacities. But people going through postpartum, I had to deal with a sister-in-law that was going through postpartum. And so I had to go in and had the kids not taken away, but let the the in-laws come in,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because she was in a bad way.
Yeah.
And I just went in to check on her. And found some disturbing things going on in the home. I didn't call my brother. Well, you know who I called? I called all the mother-in-laws.
Mm-hmm.
I called my mama, I called her mama, and we all swooped in. Got the kids, got her medical attention. I just got off from work one day and just went in to check in.
Yeah.
And she was in a bad way.
Whew, it's a lot. You know, when my mother and they have since changed it, there's insurance stuff and all that. I don't want to drag it out because I want to get to everybody. But you know, when my mother had me and my sisters and my brother, that was back in the day where you was in the hospital at least 7 days or something like that, right? Now they have literally cut it, like once you had a baby, right? Now they have literally cut it down to like 3 days.
Less if you do natural childbirth.
Right. So it's like you push the baby out and it's like, boom, put the baby on your skin, bye, go home, goodbye, we see you later, whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's so crazy. And it's so very sad that this is happening to, you know, the kids and everybody. And it's like, mothers, you don't get a book on this thing. And, you know, you don't, so many emotions are going on. Your hormones are out of whack anyway, because you just had this baby. And it's like, I'm very fortunate. So I had my son late. I had my son at 35. But not only that, to this very moment, I still have a whole lot of help. And he's 18. And it's like you said, you got to check on them. You got to keep checking on them. And I'm also feeling for this husband. Because now, just like that, your wife and your baby is gone.
And he had no say so. Right. He had no say so. Right. Just went to work, came home, everybody gone.
Right. Very sad. And these insurance companies trying to save money off of extra days, and you don't even give the mother a chance to be like, okay, I just had this baby. Okay, yeah. What do I do? Do I feed the baby with my boob, my breast, a bottle? What? How do I handle this? They think that, you know, because now they do this whole skin to skin thing. They feel like, you know, that's going to connect with the baby better. But yeah, you don't give me no 1 day of skin to skin. Give me a couple days to be here. Let me wrap my mind around I am a mother now, or I am a mother again. I don't know. It's so sad. It's so much going on. Sebastian, your thoughts?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. This situation is very sad, but I'm going to say this. Even if they did do that, I do think this woman would probably have done the same thing still. Because she probably had smile depression. She probably would smile and, you know, live her average day normally like everyone else would, and no one would know that inside her, it was burning inside her. It was just a time ticking machine that was just getting ready to burst. I feel bad for the husband. I feel bad for the family of this woman. I feel bad for the neighbors, the colleagues, because at some point they may somehow feel that they may be guilty. Maybe because, you know, now people feel like they'll be like, what if I didn't ask her how she was? Like, oh, maybe I was mean to her that day. Like, you know, I feel bad for almost everyone that has a direct relationship to this woman and the baby. But I'm sorry, and I know this may sound insensitive, but she should have just gave the baby away. I'm sorry. It's too late now, but that's what I think she should have did. Should have just gave the
People
baby
don't think like that, Sebastian.
They don't think like that.
No woman. I only know one woman as a woman that knows a lot of women that's put their baby up for adoption. I only know one woman that has ever done that. Women don't think like that when they have a child.
I agree with
Wait,
you.
wait, let me just add something to the story, y'all, which is very interesting. This one, I didn't read the whole thing before, but her parents was in the house when this happened. So it says here, cops were called to the home of Dr. Crystal at least twice before she, unalived her 4-month-old daughter and then turned it on herself. The Post said on Sunday. As it surfaced, the oncologist's parents were at the house at the time of the Slay S. Barbara. Now this one, imagine people, this was $1 million home, so I'm sure the home was pretty big, like a good size. They had 2 ambulance and police come to their house, 2, maybe 3 times this summer. At least twice, we called the neighbor Bob Stewart, 71, who lives near the 40-year-old cancer doctor's $1 million home in Summers, Westchester County. I saw the police and the ambulance arrive. It's not clear why cops in the ambulance were repeatedly called to the stately property. The development came as a chilling new details surfaced about the tragedy. Her parents were in the home when their daughter entered the baby's room around 7 a.m. Saturday and did that to the baby girl and then turned it on herself. I'm surprised.
There's information we don't know. There's information we don't know. There's information we don't know.
It got to be. Someone from inside the home called 911. The person heard the first, pow pow, but thought something had just fallen. They heard the second pow pow before they could reach the room to make sure everything was okay and found the door locked, the cops said. They broke down the door and found the doctor and her baby unalived. We know
information we don't know.
Yeah, it's 100% without doubt that this was a, M/S, the officer said. It's sad. They had the baby around March and it was their only child. Neighbors said the top Mount Sinai Hospital doctor and her husband, who owns an energy bar business, were very nice but ultra private. The point where the residents had it, they had no idea. They had no idea that she was even pregnant. Very private
it's
people.
stuff we don't know.
Yeah, very
he need
private
to be
people.
Investigated deeply.
Yeah,
the father.
Very private people kept to themselves. The wife said they came over and introduced themselves when they moved in about 2 years ago, and then we never heard from them again. She said we didn't even know she was pregnant. Yeah. Another neighbor, Bob and Betsy Stewart's son, Brad Stewart, 47, who lives closest to the slain scene, said he was awoken by commotion at the property Saturday morning. Our dog Bruno just started going bananas at 6:45. You know that probably that dog's intuition, because she didn't do it until 7 a.m. He's saying their dog went bananas. This is a neighbor around 6:45. I woke up to the dog freaking out, and I figured he really had to go out. So I took him out for a walk. And that's when the police and the EMS and everybody rolled up, Brad said. They were very nice people, very present, and they moved in about 2 years ago, and I've seen them maybe twice since then. It's horrible how can he go on losing your whole family all at once? How could she do that? It's unbelievable, the resident added. Professional cleaning crews can be seen tending to the property Sunday. The cleaning crews came already?
And they look so normal, right? They look like investigate.
Yeah.
Not necessarily him, her, the parents, both sides, the help, the job, investigate.
Oh, this is a lot. Sebastian?
Yeah. You did come to me. I commented already, but you know what? Hearing this now, I take back a lot of the things I said. I'm like, I feel now that like there's a lot of things that are missing in this case.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of areas that we can't see. So I hope they do more investigation and we can really comment on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, though, even if it was something shady, she unfortunately did it to herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Felicia, I know it's very sensitive. Any comments?
You know, both of these stories are just so troubling, and at the core of it is a tool that, when used,
You better speak. You better speak, Felicia. Tell them.
Just end the life. It won't be a gray area. It won't be it's a oops. It's over. So, thank you for sharing the additional information. I do believe that there was more here. I hate when people use that term. Oh, they were very private. Private often means too many secrets. And folks can't open up and talk about what they're experiencing. A couple of people in the chat were saying, well, mothers need a lot of help, and I stand in that stead. I too am a mother. When I had my first son, sleep deprivation was my problem.
We'll talk. Yes.
That was making me what's happening, what's going on, But it was grace in terms of family and friends.
Yes.
My aunt would come early in the morning and bathe the baby and show me A, B, C, and D, and she would say, go shower now.
Yep.
And I brought you this to eat.
Yep.
Because you're not going to get time later. And we were very blessed. My husband was still working, and he worked that night shift, and he would come in and, take the baby and feed the baby and all those great things. And I had that village that you talk about. That village that even when you're having those moments, they're coming to your home. They're bringing gifts, they're bringing food, they're talking a whole bunch of nonsense and getting you back on track.
Yes.
So it's not just, I don't have any sleep. Here's my mother sitting in the room and she's telling her sister something, and it's the same old argument, and it kind of brings you back. You see your cousins and you see your family and your friends come over. And I'm finding with my son's wife, when they had the first baby, they don't want nobody over. So I want that to be addressed in real time. I'm finding that a lot of these young parents don't have that family coming over to welcome the new baby. They're doing the YouTube and they're reading and this and that, and they want to do it on their own. And then you're finding a lot of these mothers are having serious dark moments. And to this family, my condolences. I would have cleaned up immediately too. I probably would have moved out. I can't even imagine what it is to be the living and having experienced this. Emmanuel mentioned in the chat that once Oprah had done a whole show on it. And there was a woman up there that she said to Oprah, and it just had such an impact on me. She wondered if she had enough life for this baby. And I think most of us do ask, do I have enough life? Am I going to be here long enough to raise my children, to give them everything they need, to be here, to be that love, be that support, be that protection? And when so many women go back out in that world, they can't tell people they're struggling. They're hearing you're supposed to be, this is the best time of your life. And you're figuring, when's the last time I combed my hair? But I had that family, that extended family. I had friends who were pregnant around the same time. So we would all gather and share what it was to be a new mom. So I'm just deeply sorry. And folks, please, if you have to have the pow in the house and somebody's going through something, why it wasn't the pow removed? And go into the medical cabinet and take out something that may have been detrimental. It's just unnecessary loss here. So sorry.
Yeah. And thank you, Felicia, for that message. You said so many things, but I want to get around to everybody else and let them talk that I totally connected with and agree with. The thing that I love that you said, and I feel like it should apply to the previous situation also. When you know somebody is going through a crisis, if you do have these pow pows in your home, then that's you extra secure them. You secure them even more because of that. And you know, when I was growing up, they always say, if you don't bring a pow pow to the fight, then nobody can get hurt. Now we all know that other people, there's other ways people can get hurt, but you know what I mean? That was just one of the things they used to say.
But that's the problem of the United States. A problem with the pow pow. They're everywhere. There are 330 million pow pows available in the United States.
Yeah, there's
and
more
when
than
you
people.
have temporary problems, they use permanent solutions.
Yeah.
With the pow pow.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's more pow.
Right. I'm sorry. Ladon Sweeteen, thank you for the super chat. Why call the cops repeatedly for PPP? PPP is not a police matter. They should have called for psychiatric services. See, the first article mentioned nothing about that, Ladon Sweetie. So I don't think anybody really knew what the mother was going through, because similar to what Sebastian says, just in general, and I'm not saying her family did this, just in general in the world, everything around having a baby, getting married is all happiness. And as a person going through it, you know, people are like, oh, you got a baby, you got married, you have this beautiful home, you're a doctor, this and that, you should be happy. What are you upset about? So you have these world pressures on your back, and you start to maybe play those things in your head, like, yeah, why am I sad? I have this great husband. I have this amazing home. I'm an amazing doctor. Now I got an amazing baby. I'm living an American dream. And so you smile for the people, but inside you're breaking down, you're in turmoil, and you don't know who to tell. And you maybe not even feel, because now we don't know our parents is there, you may not even be able to feel like you can tell your parents too that you're suffering inside, even though the world feel like you have it all. What is wrong with you? You know how many times people would say, like, what, like, you got it good. What is wrong with you? It's almost as if they see something and feel like, because you're there, you should never be sad. So I'm thinking there was so many pressures on her. Prominent doctor, had a nice home. Now she has this baby. And you know, she was just going through too much. And when your hormones are out of whack, and like Felicia said, just simple sleep deprived. I felt like all was going well. And you know, people do give you tips, and they're really good tips. And a new mother listen to it. They said when that baby sleeps, sleep. They said, I don't care if your house dirty, the dishes need to be washed, clothes need to be washed. One of the advice I got was, when that baby go to sleep, you go to sleep. Get your rest, because the baby wakes up all types of hours for food, sometimes every 2 to 3 hours, and you tired, right? But if you stayed up all day and the baby napping, now you're going to be sleep deprived. So they said when that baby sleep, you sleep. I don't care if your house dirty, what's going on. So we don't know if she was sleep deprived on top of everything else she was going through, and that everybody around her didn't recognize it because she was letting no clue into it. She was still doing all of her regular stuff and looking like nothing was different, and smiling at everybody and suffering alone to herself inside. Adele, your thoughts?
First, I'd like to, send my condolences to everyone in her family, because no matter what happened, this is really tough. Like, and the career she was in, it was about helping people and all of those things. And it's just sad to see that in her situation, no one was able to catch it and help her. That being said, I hope there's nothing nefarious underneath, because there's so much to deal with either way. The thing that keeps on coming back to me is, like, there's so much to learn about mental health, and the fact that, it's not a shame to feel a certain way, because like what you and Sebastian was talking about, the idea of, I'm feeling this way, but because everybody else feels another way, I'm going to hide it because it's not right for me to feel that way. And I'm not saying to say I'm above it. I'm saying it because it's what all of us would probably feel like, you know what, let me just deal with it myself, because I don't want to spoil the happiness of other people. But the truth is, like, it's a life right there, because you hold it in and then it becomes an internal thing where it takes over whatever it is, and then you can't control it anymore. It becomes this.
Hold on 1 second, Adele. I'm gonna let you finish. Lavina, I don't know what you mean. You make no sense. You sleep deprived, regardless, it's a baby. That statement doesn't make any sense to me. You would have to explain to me what you're trying to say, because it's not making sense to me. You saying you make no sense, but this statement doesn't make any sense, right? People are sleep deprived, and when they're sleep deprived, a whole lot of other emotions come up, and they're not thinking the same, or functioning the same, or doing the same. People that are sleep deprived, they end up crashing their car and having an accident, and it simulates the same reactions that someone that is drunk. If you ever see studies, they said people that are drunk in driving and sleepy in driving, it's the same exact result. So I'm confused about your statement, but go ahead, Adele.
Yeah. So I'm just sending out as much love and positivity as I possibly can to her family, and God rest her soul and that baby's. Yeah. I'll leave it at that.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Julius, any thoughts?
It's a sad situation, and it reminds me of the mother now. She may not have unalived her own self, but she did all her 5 children. And her name was Angela. And I remember hearing about the story on the news network. And she only had a baby. Her youngest was a baby that was only a couple of months old. Now, this was years ago. But hearing this reminded me of that story. And unfortunately, that father, even though like the red flags in this story, like the situations are different, there is major red flags that stand out to me in this story. I am immensely, and I want to make this equivocally clear. I'm immensely empathetic and compassionate, and the girl's parents and her in-laws have my condolences. Something happened. Something snapped. And even though the husband, to a point, until, but it's like Leo and others have said, there was more to the story than we know about. And so, yes, the husband has my empathy and compassion until we hear otherwise. And unfortunately, I think we are going to hear otherwise. Because the red flags are just too clear. And, I'm not the almighty. I'm not the final judge. I'm not any of that. I'm just sharing an opinion. It's just the red flags are too clear to me. And I feel like we are going to hear way more.
All right, Julius. Thank you. Denzel, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is really sad because I have seen, and I mean, I have seen time and time again on the news about, about parents, you know, can I say that SD, you know what I'm talking about? I can say SD. I have seen a lot of tragic stories on the news about parents, doing the SD, they they unalive their children and then they unalive themselves. Just I'm gonna use my words very carefully because this is a sad story. I don't know. For me, I just don't understand why would why would somebody, do that to their child? But I I get it because they probably, for one, they stressed out. Stress is no joke. Depression is no joke. And then they had to go to work and stuff is high, like bills and stuff. Like that, it's a lot. And did her parents was living in the house, correct?
I don't know about just living there, period. I know they were there, unfortunately, at the time. And
Oh,
I do understand how, because one time I don't know if I left it on the edge. I don't know what it was, but I was upstairs in my room and I heard something in my house. Like my son was upstairs in his room and I heard something downstairs. I heard it go boom, right?
oh,
And I didn't know. I was like, oh my God, what is that? I was almost scared to go downstairs in my own house, right? But
right.
I went downstairs and something I left too close to the edge. I don't know why, but it ended up falling off and it dropped and it broke. So I do understand, like sometimes, but matter of fact, I take it back because I didn't go downstairs until the morning. That's
You
right.
didn't?
I did. And then when I went downstairs, I was like, ooh, that's what it was. And so I do understand how sometimes you could probably think a noise is something, but she really wanted to do this, knowing that the door was locked. I feel
Yeah.
like even if they would have ran to the room after the first noise, they probably might not have still got to the mom because she locked the door.
Oh,
And
wow.
so that means they would have had to try to bust down the door to get to her.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
Can I say something else, Steven?
Yes.
Yeah, I rest in peace to her and her child, her child, condolences to her husband, her parents, and their family and friends. This is what people need to do, because depression is stress. It's a lot, and people need to, if they trying to tell them something and say, well, I'm going through something, they need to listen to them, check up on them, and see how they doing, because it happens a lot and it's very sad. And we got to stay prayed up, and people need to be there for people and make sure they okay, because it's a touchy subject. And that's it. Diva, I'm sorry for taking so long.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Thank you. No worries.
You're
Well,
welcome.
thank you so much for this information. New maternal mental health hotline is 1-833 TLC Mama. I didn't even know they had a special hotline. So I really appreciate you for giving this information. And I'm going to go back later and update the description box to put this information in there. So it's nice that they do have a hotline. In my opinion, your thoughts?
Okay, so these topics have been really hard tonight. I think the part that a lot of people don't understand is when you're going through a depressive state, when you're at this level where you feel like there's nothing left, you don't think about what you're doing, because right now all you're thinking is, I'm not there. It's nothing else left here. And I know this from personal experience. I've went through it and I've tried 3 times to commit, but luckily I had a mama, a praying mama, okay, and every time I did something to myself, she always knew it was something wrong with me. And I finally got a doctor that got me on some meds that helped me stabilize that, because it's like it's a chemical imbalance that affects your brain. And it essentially tells you that, you're not worthy. Nobody would care. You feel this emptiness inside of you. So I would ask everybody, if you see somebody, they moods change, like they just all of a sudden, they may be a bubbly personality. they moods change, reach out and get some support for them because they may be suffering with that form of depression. If you see them and they usually doing this and all of a sudden they don't have an interest in that, that's a sign of depression. I feel like for this mom, it was a disservice that she had her parents there and her husband and nobody saw the warning signs. I feel like that was a disservice. And I'm just gonna continue to pray that some more stuff come out because I'm just not sure. But please, if you feel like your life is not worthy, I'm gonna tell you from personal experience, you are worthy. You're here for a reason, and God doesn't want you to feel like you can't ask for help from somebody. So it's a lot of different ways to get help. It's a lot of different hotlines out there. Just don't do that.
In my opinion, thank you so much for sharing. So sorry you went through that, but I'm also very grateful that none of your attempts were successful. So continue prayers out to you. And again, continue prayers out to this young lady, her whole family, and hopefully, in the future. I know they are really trying in hospitals, but it's but so much you can do. There are people, because now many of you, I don't know if y'all notice this, but I don't like the way that some doctors do it, because they just say, hey, fill this out, instead of versus really engaging with the person, and maybe they fill it out when the person answers them. But everybody gets a form now. I know it's law in Jersey. I can't speak across the board. I feel like it is across the board, but I don't know. But law in New Jersey is every time you go visit your doctor, you're supposed to get this screening form that says, are you feeling sad? Are you not doing the same things you normally do? I'm not quoting the questions 100%.
No, we don't have that here. Only way you get that is if you tell them that you're suffering.
Yeah, see, Jersey, I know is law for sure, and I want to say New York, because even when I was taking my dad to the doctor, he had to fill it out. It's like, are you sad? Have you lost a lot of weight lately? Are you not eating regularly? I can't quote all the questions, but the name of the form won't come in my head right now. But every single visit, the individual has to get this particular form, because they're trying to screen and help with the whole depression. And Bo, I'm gonna say, I love this statement you said. It's like being in a dark pit and you just can't get out. And there are so many people that unfortunately